Good.
Go. Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody tonight to our October 5th workshop. With us tonight, we have our town board members, Andrew Riggenbaum, Steve Monroe, Sylvia Santiago, and Stephen Beddetti. Also have our clerk, Kelly Allegra, our town attorney, Dave Zagon, and from our IT department, Patrick Mangan. We're still virtual again for a while due to the governor's orders. So the first item on the agenda tonight is a sexual harassment policy for the town of Windsor that we will be adopting on Wednesday at the town board meeting. We are now in the process of doing training for all our employees, some required training as per state regulations, and police department and the ambulance corps have already gone through this. So we'll now just about finish up with the rest of the town employees and we'll meet the guidelines. But we're adopting the policy on Wednesday. Next item on the agenda is issuing some COs for Covington homes. We had one issue with one poor woman who was in a motel for a while and she was getting desperate. She couldn't get a CO because of some issues with the building department, so she contacted a lot of people. She also managed to know somebody who knew the town attorney's wife, and she contacted the town attorney's wife trying to get it worked out, and she referred her to her husband. And we have gotten her out of a motel, so there'll be that and probably 7 or 8 other COs that we'll be able to issue for this Covington Homes, which is up off of Temple Hill Road. The next item on the agenda is the New Windsor Police Department body cameras. Now, what that is where the officers now have a body cam on when they respond to calls. And it will eliminate a lot of this he said, she said, and we'll have it documented. And we have been doing some research on what we need to buy, and we've had some prototypes in. We're looking at them. We're pretty sure we have decided on a particular camera that the officers have tried out in the field, and they seem to be happy with this camera. We're going to purchase about 50 of them because the price is pretty reasonable, about $35,000 for 50 cameras. We have some folks who are offering to donate some cameras, purchase the cameras for the town. So we'll pursue those avenues before we decide as a board how much we are going to spend on the cameras. But we have some people who are really willing to step forward and help us purchase these cameras. And I think in the long run, it can only help. The next item on the agenda is a solicitor's permit from Hector Mateo. He wants to sell hot dogs. It's Alpha's Hot Dog and Catering. He is proposing to do this from another business that is on Route 94 and Union Avenue, the mobile station. And he's proposing to do it there. That'll be on the agenda on Wednesday. There's another solicitor's permit from Laura Mason, who is looking to sell mac and cheese from a food truck, 5 Corners at the Verizon site. That'll be on the agenda. Next item on the agenda is a Halloween celebration on October 23rd. And we are proposing to do a drive-through at the Christie Babcock Park. And this particular event is being sponsored by Councilman Riggenbaum's law firm, Riggenbaum, Acero, McMillan, and Burgess. I appreciate them stepping forward and helping us with this, so it'll be no cost to the town. The only issue with this, I would caution that I'm still kind of keeping an eye. It's by the way, between 6 and 7 p.m. a haunted road and car trick or treating, and also a 7 p.m. costume parade, followed by a movie. The only caveat I'll say is that I'm watching very closely the COVID situation in New Windsor. And if it continues to go the way it looks like it's going, this could fall by the wayside. But we will definitely be posting stuff on our website and our Facebook, so you can keep an eye on that. Next item on the agenda is been on the agenda a little bit, and the board's aware of it. This Mason's Ridge Senior Center, or town-owned building that's out there across from Devitt's. We're still talking to some prospective buyers and even some people who are interested in leasing or renting it. So we have kind of turned one proposal that I think was a little short on the money, and we'll keep pursuing this until we get what we think is a good deal for the taxpayers. Next item on the agenda is we're having a public hearing on the override of the tax levy limit, and this is just a requirement by the state that we have to do. And the The limit they set this year is 1.5%, which is kind of a little hard to do in this environment. But it has no bearing. There's no bearing on the STAR program, and there's no bearing. They haven't been sending out checks to people anyway for the last couple of years. So this is just a requirement that if we go over the limit, that we have to pass this override. So we'll pass this on Wednesday, and then we'll talk some more about the budget in a few minutes, and then the board's got the budget, and we'll see where we're going. The next item on the agenda is we're holding a public hearing on amending the vehicle and traffic local law having to do with some stop signs that we are proposing to put up and some no parking signs that have been requested by residents. And it has been reviewed by our police department, and they have made some recommendations, and that will be on the agenda on Wednesday also. Next item on the agenda is a traffic study by Master Consulting, and what we're proposing here is on all town roads where there may be a 40 miles an hour speed limit, reducing them all to 30, which is the lowest that we can go. So that is town roads. There are some county roads in town. For instance, Union Ave is a county road. There are some state roads in town, any road with a number in it, like 9W, Route 32. They are state roads, and we have no control over those speed limits, but we're just speaking solely of some town roads, and they're out on the western end where sometimes it's 30 miles an hour. You go about a mile and it goes to 40. You go another mile, it goes down to 30. So we're proposing to put them all to 30 miles per hour, and we'll see how that goes. Next item on the agenda is the Community Development Block Grant Amendment. We have gotten some extra money for Hilltop and Old Windsor Highway that they gave us a new limit on the money, and I would thank Jess in the town attorney's office for shepherding this, and it's like 61,000 on Hilltop and 60,000 on Old Windsor. So that's money that we'll get from Community Development Block Grant that we won't be burdening taxpayers with. The next item on the agenda is the Stewart Hill Industrial Park, which is out on Tolman Road and Route 207. They applied for some relief from the moratorium, and we had a public hearing on it last month, and now the board will vote on whether or not they're going to get any relief. Next item on the agenda is a Halloween curfew that we put in place every year, and it limits the times that children under the age of 18 cannot be out. And this year, unfortunately for us, and we've talked this from experience, Halloween falls on the weekend. So I asked the police chief and his staff to look at it, and they made the recommendation to the town board that the curfew begin on Friday, October 30th at 6 p.m. and end at 6 a.m. on Monday, November 2nd. So it would cover the whole weekend. And we have found that this has worked in the past very well. If not, it seems to be a little too much marauding around. I don't know how many people will be out for Halloween, but I had several calls wanting the town, myself and the board, to cancel Halloween. So we don't have that ability to cancel Halloween. So I think it's up to the parents whether or not they take the children out trick-or-treating. And I'm sure if they take them out, they'll all be masked. And then it's up to the residents whether you open the door to those children. So as of right now, unless the governor steps up with something new, Halloween is a go. Next item on the agenda is we are been asked by global companies down on River Road. We have a paper road, something called a paper road, down off of River Road, which is also a state road, by the way, River Road. And they are proposing to buy it. We've asked our assessor to put an assessment on it. He's assessed it at $65,000, and the town board has asked the town attorney to deal with the global attorney and come up with a contract on this road. On many maps, it doesn't even show up. Next item on the agenda is a new state law that's requiring the municipality retention policy with town clerk. So we have to pass this resolution that's required by the state. So our town clerk, Kelly Allegra, will be able to be in compliance with the state regulations. Next item on the agenda is we're going to award a bid to Maroney's for a police motorcycle, and they were the only bidder. It's $27,814. So with that being the only bid, we'll vote on that on Wednesday. We also have another bid that we're going to award on Wednesday. It's for the ambulance building that is occupied by the New Windsor Emergency Services, but owned by the town. So it is our building. So there's been some issues for quite a while with the air conditioning, and we have a low bid from MDS HVAC of $32,600. So that'll be voted on Wednesday also. The next item on the agenda is a State Environmental Quality Review Act, commonly known as SEQR, for the wastewater treatment plant, which is the sewer treatment plant. And what that is we are proposing that the town of New Windsor become the lead agency for that plant, for that SEQR project for that plant. That plant, a couple of reasons, is it needs to be upgraded. It hasn't been upgraded in forever, and it needs to be expanded. So it's going to be a quite costly project to do it, but it's been put off for way too long, and we are in desperate shape with that sewer treatment plant. So that will be on the agenda. Also on the agenda will be the town landfill, and we have an animal control contract that we've had for years with Richard Kroll, and it's for $650, and he goes up there and rids us of the animals who could possibly destroy some of that landfill and cost us plenty of money. So the last item on the public agenda that I want to talk about is the 2021 budget, which is the budget coming. Now, the town board was just given the tentative budget today, which is required by law. And now they're going to review that budget, and there'll be some discussion about where we're going with the budget. But as most of you know, or if you don't know, our revenue streams have been cut pretty severely with the sales tax, and we find ourselves in a little bit of a bind. But I've kind of worked through this a little bit with the controller's office, Jack Finnegan and Doreen Casey, and we've come down to this point, that at this point, the general fund and highway fund, which are the only two funds besides the ambulance fund, that is townwide. So between those two funds, there would be an increase of about 4.93% for 2021. And that kind of is the only two funds that everybody pays for. And then there's a garbage fund, and there's an water and sewer. And the water and sewer rates, the water rates remain the same, and I think the sewer rates went up $1. They went from 41 to 42 for four quarters. The water rates remain the same. In our garbage fund, for those who have garbage pickup, there's been an increase in that fund, and kind of what happened to us with the garbage is that when the COVID hit and people were home for 2 or 3 months, they were all cleaning out their attics and cleaning out their basements and doing some renovations. And as most of you know, have garbage, we're pretty good about picking up whatever you put out. So our tipping fees increased a lot there, and that is a fund that's not paid by everybody, just paid by those who in it, and that's something looks like about 5.93% at this point. The other townwide fund is the New Windsor Ambulance Emergency Services. Now, it used to be known as the New Windsor Volunteer Ambulance Corps, and now it's the New Windsor Emergency Services. The reason for the name change is that there are volunteers, but there are paid members there now. So we have paid staff at the emergency services, the ambulance corps, and it's paramedics, EMTs, they have a chief, and their budget, their salary budget is about $15,000 a week. So it's not really a volunteer ambulance corps anymore. It's a New Windsor Emergency Services. And they are considered by many, including myself and the town board, as probably the premier organization in Orange County. They are called to go to other places. We're backups for other places. And when we go to, say, Cornwall as a backup, or to work as a first one, or they need an ALS, which is advanced life support, we charge them. So we collect $600 a call or $300 a call or whatever it is. But they are really stretched out a little bit with what they're doing down there. And the average taxpayer bill on the ambulance corps is about $50 a year. for residents, $50 a year for the residents. I'm kind of proposing to the town board that we need to kick that up, and I would start with about 50%. So instead of being $50 a year, it becomes $75 a year. But what I'm saying is, if we dispatch an ambulance to a residence or a business in town, they are definitely going to be able to help you. This is not somebody coming who doesn't know what they have to do. They are rated at the highest rating that they have. They have professionals on board, and other towns are now kind of figuring it out with us, and that's why they're calling us a backup. And sometimes we have 5 or 6 ambulances out just in town. So they are kind of pretty much stretched to the limit. We have to do some things down there for storing their trucks. So I just put that out to the town board members, that's one of the things that's not on here that I'm definitely looking at. They were kind of looking at a very small increase that went from I think it was 52 cents to 53 cents to 54 cents. But I'm proposing that gets kicked up to 75 cents. So that would $75. So it's $50 a year. I'm saying $75 a year. So the board needs to look at that. We can talk about it some more. And I'm asking that anybody who is viewing this or looks at it later, they contact us, contact myself, contact one of the board members, and let us know your feelings on anything on this budget. Because it's not put to bed yet. It'll be put to bed in November. And that's why we do it now. So we have some time to talk about it, the board members, but also the taxpayers, because you, as those of us who live here, are funding this. So I think I'm trying to give you all the information that I can. We've spoken to our 2 unions who represent employees in the police department and the CSEA who represents other town employees. And we're asking them to make some concessions to help us with this budget. Those elected officials and appointed officials will not be getting any raises. There are some contractual raises with the PBA and the CSEA that I've asked them to please take a look at, and I've made some requests to them. And I'm waiting for them to get back to me because I think we all realize that this has been a tough stretch for everybody. So we'll definitely be speaking to it in November, but if you have any comments, call one of us and just tell us what your comments are. I mean, right now we are providing a very good police service and a very good ambulance service. We've kicked up the recreation department. The building department is a little slowed down because of the moratorium, but you're always able to get somebody here in town hall to help you. There's always a return call. I just want to speak a little bit about COVID for a minute, just for those of you who don't know. There's new numbers out in Orange County, and New Windsor is now number 3. So Palm Tree is number 1. The city of Newburgh is number 2, and we're number 3 with the most new COVID cases. So I think that is playing on my mind quite a bit, and I'm concerned about it. And I noticed in their release, Orange County, there was only 40% of the ICU beds were available in hospitals. And I remember when we were coming out of this back 4 or 5 weeks ago, they were up to 80% or 90%. So now the hospital ICU beds are at 40% available. So I really think that we all need to kind of step back and take a look. Just as an aside, last week on one day, we had 240 people come to town hall. 240 people come in here, which is exposing my staff to 240 people more every day. And we actually had an incident where we have a little window that we close. We deal with the customer, open a window. Customer came to the window, took his mask down, and coughed in one of our staff members' face. So when I'm asking people, if you really don't have to come here, and the majority of those people were actually coming to pay a water bill, you can mail it in. You can just drop it at the front door with the court officer, and he'll give it to the proper department, the receiver of taxes. But for 240 people coming in and out, we're usually on an average day here, and we're only allowing the public in for 4 hours, from 11 to 3. We're here from 9 or whatever it is to 4 or 5 or 6, but the door is only open to the public from 11 to 3. So 240 people was a lot of people, and we average probably around 80 to 100 every day that people have to come in. I mean, yet some people have to come in to get handicap stickers. They want to get a hunting license. They need something from the building department. They need to see me. But 240 people was a bit over the top for me. So I'm just asking if you don't have to come, don't come, because you expose yourself and you expose the staff. Now, if I catch a COVID thing here and I got to send people home and go into this quarantine, we have a problem. There'll be nobody here. If it gets to the police department, we really have a serious problem. So I think that we all need to pay attention to where these numbers are going, and they seem to be going in the wrong direction, as best that I can tell. I saw something today that the governor has now taken over this, what's going on in New York City is taken away from the mayor, and he's going to decide when schools are closed. He's now talking, any school that has 9% is being shut down, not the whole district, particular school with 9% positive cases, they're going to shut them down. So I just want to put that out there, that we're aware of it, and I'm trying not to get any of my people sick, and I'm hoping that you folks just pay attention to what I'm asking you to do. One other point that just came to my attention today from Police Chief Robert Doss is that in September, in this little town of 38 square miles, we arrested 12 people for DWI. So obviously there's lots of people out there who are driving drunk because we didn't catch everybody. So I don't know whether it's the COVID's got people crazy or whether people are depressed or whatever. Something is wrong. That's way too many people for a municipality of this size to be arresting in a month. So when I taught in school, I always said nothing good happens after midnight. And trust me, nothing good ever happens after midnight. So that's enough of my lecture for today. Okay, that's this part of the workshop. We're going to go to personnel and litigation. So with that, we'll be signing off and hope to hear from you on the budget.